Alright, everybody. This is a rundown of, well, the 10-point project plus taking it a step further. We're going to be delving into some compound if statements here. So for this project, what we want to do is just simply make a box along with a couple of labels and a little submit button. And we hit submit and it will check to see if each of these is correct. And we have a nice little username and password here. So what I need first is just a label or two, and I'll drop a couple of these down here, and then a few text boxes. 1, 2, and something like that, and a button. Bit. Make them look a little prettier and a little more lined up. Let's see, there we go. Alright. Boom. And button doesn't really matter. Let's start with labels. I'll set names and things like that. This would be the username. And this would be the password. We'll just text first. Like that. And this doesn't really matter what I set it to at the moment, so I'll just leave it as it is. And of course this is going to be the submit button. Or login, it doesn't really matter. There. I'll call it login for this. So, now that we got that, I need to adjust the names of them. btn login. And this is just label password, label username, text boxes, txt user, txt pass. And we'll call this label check user and label check pass. And if I don't want them to just say label, I can always just make them nothing or a dot. It doesn't really matter too much. I'll just do this. That way I can kind of see them. Alright, so I've got my button. I've got my username and password. Let's go ahead and see. What we want it to do is, I type in pickles or 1, 2, 3. It just say correct to the side if one of those is correct. Now, in the program, we just wanted to check one of those things. Obviously, we want to check both if we're doing this normally. If I was just checking one, if, and I would check the text box. Let's do that. All right, text user dot txt equals pickles. And if I uppercase this or lowercase it, it does matter. Then that label check user dot text equals correct. Now if I do these separately, if text user dot text, this one's pass equals 1, 2, 3, 4, then label check pass dot text equals correct. Now I want to say incorrect though, not just correct. So for that, I'm going to need an else here. So it's either going to be right or wrong. There's no other possible outcome. So if I do it this way, incorrect. And then I can just kind of copy and paste this Same thing here, but else, copy paste, incorrect. Now, if I have done this correctly, as we run our program, which, here we go, pickles and 1, 2, 3, 4 should both register as correct. Now, if I name one of those wrong, it'll say it's incorrect, like that. Now, the problem with this is you're not going to check things one at a time. You have to check a username and compare it with a password. So, if I want to check pickles and that's the password, I'm going to have to adjust this. So instead of just checking one thing, I'm going to have to do a compound if, which means I will check more than one thing. So if the user is something and the password is this, then it's correct. Otherwise, it's incorrect. Let's just comment that out. Well, we'll just comment it out instead of erasing it completely. So, doot, doot, doot. Alright. Now, if I have one password, which is what I have here, this should work. Oh, wait, we got some issues. Let's see. Oh, I'm sorry. Java habits. And in Java programming and most other programming languages, this is the end. So it's a bad habit. Or a good habit, I guess, depending on what language you're writing in. Well, anyway, do a quick run. And now if I type in pickles fuzzy, or rather not fuzzy, but 1, 2, 3, 4, that first item should say correct. I don't really care about the second one. I can get rid of it. If I change anything on this, username, whatever, it's going to say incorrect. So pickle. Oh, let's take a look. What happened? We have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have pickle. Let's go with pickle. Pickles. 1, 2, 3, 4. Might help if I write the right name in. And it's back to correct. Okay. Now if I have multiple names, then I would just have another else if text user dot text equals fuzzy with a capital, and text user pass dot text equals 5, 6, 7, 8. Then we would do the same thing. But maybe I won't say correct, but I'd say login confirmed or something for pickles. Login confirmed for fuzzy. And probably incorrect username and password would be fine here. So now I can have multiple here. You zoom in a little bit. We check the users, pickle, and we check to make sure the password's the same too. Now, of course, in a real situation where you would be checking usernames and passwords, that typically wouldn't be coded in code. It would be in some sort of database, and you'd be pulling from that. But with a little bit of encryption on the side, but just for us to understand kind of how this works, fuzzy, we'll go ahead and code it here. Because most people have logged in at some point or another. Pickles, incorrect username and password, 1, 2, 3, 4. Login confirms, confirms. Confirm for pickles. So, set. There we go. Do a little quick save. Now I can add as many names as I want, with just a few more else ifs here. You can also come up here and do this. Honestly, I prefer to put parentheses around my stuff, like this. You can also do it this way. But in Visual Basic, it's not necessary. You can have it just one set thing, which I tend to prefer, or you can just leave it without those if you want. Just depends on what you're trying to do. If you're doing some kind of like addition or subtraction or math or something, then this probably would be a little bit more necessary. But this right here is just a quick rundown of compound ifs.